guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Shawntas way here today. I get a lot of questions on my channel about hair porosity. Everyone's always saying like, Shawntas, what's your hair porosity? Are you low or high porosity? And I'm always like, I don't know. And then you guys are always like, what do you mean you don't know? So upon research, I've actually found out that it indeed is very important to know the porosity of your hair. So after researching, I felt that it was very necessary to put a video on my channel. Now, I will give you guys some background. I did the porosity test a long time ago when I first went natural, and it was so confusing and so I just wasn't getting it. I was like, what's the point of this? That I never did the test again. But today we're gonna try the test again, and we're also going to find out what exactly hair porosity even means. Porosity basically is the ability, your hair's ability to absorb moisture. So it is definitely a very important thing because moisture is like the biggest topic on my channel. So basically it's the hair's capability to absorb and retain water-based products and water in general. There's actually 3 different levels or porosities of the hair. You can either be high porosity, medium, aka normal porosity, or you can be a low porosity. And these levels are important because it affects the way your hair takes certain products. Let's go ahead and start with normal porosity or medium. So if you have medium, aka normal porosity hair, then your hair cuticles open and close easily, which means it allows moisture in very easily and it also retains moisture. So medium porosity hair normally lets water sit on top of the hair, but it also quickly absorbs it afterwards. And also normal porosity hair is known to have the most least maintenance out of all the porosities. So I guess some people would say it's more easier to deal with. So moving on to high porosity. If you have high porosity hair, then your cuticles are most likely very open and they actually stay open. So instead of them closing, they stay open, which means high porosity hair is very prone to being over moisturized. There also tends to be gaps in between the hair cuticle layers when it comes to high porosity hair. So the way that you can find out if you're high porosity or if your hair fits into that category is by 1, your hair becomes very moisturized just from a little bit of moisture, or it becomes soaking wet just when it comes in contact with not even that much moisture. 2, your hair tends to tangle a lot more easier. So this is just because the hair cuticles are getting caught onto each other. So your hair tends to be a lot more tangled. Number 3, your hair is very, very prone to breakage. I had this hair, high porosity, when I was transitioning, when I first went natural. I actually had high porosity hair, and that was when my hair was very damaged and I was transitioning. So I did have experience with dealing with high porosity hair. Now on to the very popular low porosity hair. If you have low porosity hair, your hair normally has very small or compact cuticles, so moisture isn't allowed in as easily. Products actually tend to sit on top of your hair with this porosity. So some ways that you can tell if your hair is low porosity is 1, your hair is very dry. This doesn't mean that your hair necessarily always has to be dry. It just takes a lot to kind of get it to moisturize, be moisturized. Number 2, your hair is super hard to get soaking wet. Number 3, like I just said, products tend to sit on top of your hair strands, especially if they are super thick butters or super thick products that just, you know, they take a lot to get into your hair strands. That's an absolute no-no for people who have low porosity hair. So now we're on to the test, and the test is called the float test. So I know that some of you are pretty sure about what type you are, what porosity you are, but just in case you're still kind of in the middle, like I don't know, I have characteristics from pretty much all of those, then you can actually do a test to find out if your hair is high, medium, or low porosity. And this is called the float test. It's a test that has been going around for a long time. It's not anything new that I created. So to start this test, my first recommendation is that you have clean hair. You don't want products on your hair because the products can affect the outcome, especially if you use heavy butters or if you have buildup in your hair. So the first thing you want to do is place a few hair strands into a bowl or a cup of water. Then you want to allow this water to sit for just a few minutes. It doesn't take that long for you to tell. And you're going to see how your hair absorbs the water. So did your hair sink all the way to the bottom? If it did, then you have high porosity hair. Did your hair float in the middle of the cup? If it did, then you have medium porosity hair. Did your hair float right on top of the water? If so, then you have low porosity hair. This hair, of course, doesn't sink a lot and it doesn't really absorb the water as much. So in that case, it stays on top. So I actually did the test on me and my daughter's hair. I have her cup here and my cup there. And I put our hair both in 2 separate cups, and I decided to test where our hair would be on the porosity floating scale. And my hair turned out to be low porosity, and it did kind of stay at the top, but I did see that it absorbed way more water than my daughter's hair, which was actually low porosity as well. But it got me to thinking, is one low porosity hair and another low porosity hair going to be the same? Or is it going to be different based on a couple other factors? Because my hair did look like it was absorbing more water and kind of weighing down a little more than my daughter's hair, which was completely at the top of the water. No question about it. Was not getting affected that much by the water. Another simple way to test your hair if you don't want to do the floating test is just to take a section of your hair and spray it. And if your hair becomes easily saturated with water, then you have high porosity hair. If your hair doesn't come super saturated, but it still absorbs the water, spray it onto your hair, then you most likely have medium porosity hair. And if the water tends to kind of sit on top of your hair, and you kind of got to work the water in for it to get into your hair strands, most likely you have low porosity hair. Another note is if your hair is damaged, relaxed, color treated, keratin treatment, anything like that where you highly alter your hair pattern, then you're most likely going to have high porosity hair. So I wanted to talk about some products that are good for each porosity hair. So for low porosity hair, you want to definitely focus on products that are not super thick, that don't tend to sit on top of your hair, and that are mostly water-based products that can easily absorb into your hair. So as you guys know, on my channel, I always mention that you should look at the first ingredient of your product, and it should be water. This is definitely a key tip for you if you're low porosity, because this is going to help your hair absorb water a lot more easier. You also want to stay away from protein treatments if you have low porosity hair, just because protein tends to sit on top of your hair, so it kind of defeats the purpose. And I've also seen that some people say that protein treatments, when they have low porosity hair, makes the hair feel a lot more brittle than normal. So instead, you might want to focus on more moisturizing treatments and treatments that are geared towards moisturizing your hair. To sum it all up, you want to use very moisture-rich products. For medium porosity hair, you want to use products based on need. So medium porosity hair, you can just do based on season. So a lot of times I do my hair like medium porosity. Sometimes in the summertime, I'll do lighter routines. In the wintertime, I do heavier routines when my hair is curly. By the way, if you're new to my channel, my hair is normally curly. So all medium porosity hair needs is a little bit of balance. So for high porosity hair, the best thing you can do for this hair porosity is to stay away from the products that attract moisture into the hair. Since high porosity hair is already absorbing moisture so easily, you don't want to use products that are going to potentially weigh the hair down or give you that weighed down look. So you want to go for products that are much more lighter. Of course, natural hair in general does need moisture, so you should not avoid moisture altogether if you have high porosity hair. You just want to make sure that you don't overdo it. So that was my video on porosity. So now that I went over the characteristics and all the things about porosity, what do you guys think? Where's your hair? Is it low, medium, or high? Let me know down in the comment section. Let me know down in the comment section your thoughts and if you have anything to add, because you know we all love a little conversation. And I will see you guys in my next one. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Also like this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.